Some people struggle because they quit too easily. But for others, the problem is the opposite. What if sticking with things isn't your issue? What if your problem is that you have too many things you want to pursue? You look at your life and see a dozen possible paths, and every one of them feels like it could be you. You're not afraid of effort. You're paralyzed by choice. This is the scanner's dilemma, perfectly captured in the phrase, "I could do anything if I only knew what it was." Society has a label for people like this. They call you a dilettante, a jack of all trades, master of none. And the anxiety behind that label can feel immense, because it can seem like your greatest strength, your curiosity, is also your biggest career liability. But today, we're going to dismantle that fear. Because maybe you were never meant to be just one thing. Maybe your mind was built for a different kind of life. Why traditional career advice feels like a trap. For most of the last century, the world rewarded specialists. Society was predictable. The rules were clear. Success meant going deep into one narrow field. Psychologists call this a kind learning environment. It rewards repetition. This is the I-shaped person, one deep pillar of expertise. But that is not the world we live in anymore. Today's world is a wicked learning environment. The rules constantly change. Feedback is delayed. Patterns are unclear. A golfer works in a kind environment. The rules never change, and feedback is immediate. A firefighter works in a wicked one. Every situation is new. The rules are unknown, and specialized knowledge doesn't always apply. In a wicked world, hyper-specialists can develop blind spots. To be clear, we need specialists. The problem isn't specialization. The problem is treating it as the only valid path. That single standard leaves scanners feeling like failures when their brain is simply built differently. Stop thinking in job titles. Start thinking in shapes. To build a career that fits your brain, you have to stop thinking in terms of job titles and start thinking in terms of shapes. The I-shaped person is the specialist. The opposite is the dash-shaped person, a mile wide, an inch deep, knowing a little about everything but having no foundation. This creates anxiety because you feel like you have no ground to stand on. But there is another shape. The most powerful one for a scanner is the M-shaped professional, the polymath. Two or more deep pillars connected by curiosity. One pillar might be data science. That pays the bills. Another might be storytelling. You go deep there too. And the bridge between them is your interest in psychology, design, history. Suddenly, you are not a distracted professional. You become rare. You become valuable because you can combine worlds that most people never connect. The polymath advantage. Far transfer specialists rely on near transfer, applying skills to very similar problems. Polymaths rely on far transfer. They see the structure of one field inside another. A musician might see harmony in software design. A biologist might see root systems in business networks. That is far transfer. It's the ability to hear the music, not just the notes. And all those random interests you've collected over the years, they aren't distractions. They are your library of metaphors. They are the raw material for insight. How to build an M-shaped life. You build it through serial mastery. You cannot build every pillar at once. That leads back to shallow dabbling. Instead, pick one pillar. Commit for a season, 6 to 18 months, not forever, just long enough to reach fluency. Master the core 80%. Not world-class expertise, just the level where you can solve most problems confidently. Then, when curiosity is satisfied, you move on deliberately. Not quitting. Graduating. This is strategic quitting. The role of stability. Exploration needs stability. Many polymaths had day jobs that provided grounding, not because it was their passion, but because it gave their mind space to wander. A low-drain job is not a cage. It's a platform. It preserves your most valuable resource, mental energy. A high-stress, high-passion job might sound exciting, but if it consumes everything you have, it leaves no room for exploration. Sometimes, stability is the smartest strategy. The final piece, a system for your mind, A scanner's brain produces more ideas than it can hold. Your mind is a factory, but your working memory is a small workbench. If you don't move ideas out of your head, overwhelm becomes inevitable. This is why you need an external system. One idea per note, captured over time. A web of knowledge that eventually connects itself. When you become obsessed with something for a week, capture it. Store it somewhere outside your mind. Then let it go without guilt. Years later, those notes may become the missing connection. That is the magic of polymathy, bringing it all together. You are not a dabbler who lacks grit. You are a scanner, a potential polymath. Your brain was not designed for one narrow path. It was designed to connect worlds. Mastery takes time, but having a map brings calm. Pick your first pillar. Build it with focus. Use stability as a platform. Build a system to hold your curiosity. You were never meant to master only one thing. You were meant to be the person who can see how everything connects. Thanks for watching. I hope this gives you something practical to try. I'll see you in the next one.